Now we're live. Hello.
You're listening to the Fade to Gray Network.
We invite people
of all backgrounds
to share their stories.
Through nuanced conversations
and forward thinking
and not taking ourselves too seriously.
Everyone's story matters.
Every voice is important.
Life is polarizing,
but not everything is black and white.
Come join us
as we fade to gray.
Fade into gray. I am mask ready and everything. I'm going to be safe during this whole podcasting experience today. It's going to be really hard for me to smoke any weed or drink my tea. But
well, that mask looks really good on you, Omar.
It does. Thank you. I had a really good close friend of mine, made this and breathed into it for a while while he was COVID positive, and then gifted me the mask afterwards. So
that was so kind. You must have really good friends, man.
Wore it once, and then the way that you actually clean those masks, which I forgot to tell you, is you take a hair dryer and you hair dry it really good. So yeah,
that kills all the COVID.
Yep, the heat does.
That's why all the tests went down in June and July because of all the heat. It's why coronavirus has essentially been eradicated from the United States due to the weather. It's been very nice to see.
Did Chris make this? Chris Conley?
No.
Okay. He's taking credit for it right now on
random shout out.
Well, in that case, yes, Chris Conley made it.
Well, right there. Thank you, Chris Conley, for the mask. It's gorgeous. If you want more, please hit up Chris. Just find him on Facebook and he'll
just spam him.
Yeah, if he makes masks, we should probably ask him about it because it'd be nice to have a few.
That dude, Chris. In fact, giving questions, Chris, but he's one of our most favorite interviews that we, especially in the first season.
Oh yeah,
a ton of downloads. Really cool dude. Wondering, obviously with COVID, there's no stand-up anymore, but I'm wondering if he's still trying to do his comedy thing.
It'd be good to know.
Protesting. She just left.
She says, "No more Chris Conley."
It's like, I'm over this.
I know she was having technical difficulties, but
yes, we're having a hard time. We are streaming through a StreamYard. Shout out to StreamYard. We're giving them a shot for a month because they have cool overlays. You can do cool things, throw up some cool banners like this cool little ticker right here. The brand that's up there. We go old school, the old school brand right there.
Look at all those people. No, that's not funny. But everything else was good.
The poor stuff one there. So yeah, so we got this is a fun thing to play with, but it seems like it has a hard time the more people you have on, and she's also on an iPad, so hopefully she gets that figured out when we get her back, because maybe there's some questions for her as well. Chris says he has no questions or none, so
I think that means he's not making any masks. Maybe.
True. I'm not really sure which one he's responding to right now. But
yeah, so what are we doing here today? I don't even know.
Oh, dude, we're hanging out. I guess we could ask each other anything if we really wanted to. But
so, what does AMA mean?
Ask me anything.
Oh, okay. Well, actually, Joe Pacheco from over at the Marco Polo group already has a question. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It was a question for Seth. Something about.
Sorry, Chris. Chris says he's not doing any comedy. Obviously, maybe you can try to do some online things with the Venmo or whatever, Venmo, PayPal.
The Venmo.
But what did Joe have to say?
Let me see. He says,
I had better mics, but I sold all that shit a long time.
Oh, come on. Where is it?
That's what you
I don't know much
for
about mics. I'll be honest with you. I am not the expert. That would definitely be fielded by you.
Oh, we can talk about podcasting if you guys want to do an episode on podcasting.
No, it wasn't about that. It was about Seth's sexual preference, and I can't find it. It would have been funny if I had saved it or something, but I didn't. I apologize.
Well, we could ask him, but I already know.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I've known you for how many years now? you have a type, and you also, you know, I know your verse, but I also know you have what you like as well. So
Cheers.
cheers. All right, so where are we going with this, Seth? Like, I'm down to talk about anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's been yesterday Facebook was popping for myself. In fact, I was afraid to share this on my Facebook wall just because I wasn't sure who's gonna want to come in and ask us anything. We've got and had some interesting comments on a couple All Lives Matter posts I've made now by the same dude who I'll just refrain from naming him momentarily. What, Seth?
Well, I think that individual, it feels hard to criticize him too much because I think that he's dealing with some mental health issues on top of everything, and it's almost like I feel like the social media feeds it for him.
What did you want me to kind of like do a little backstory to this?
Yeah, that'll be good.
Before we keep going.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's like drugged out of his mind.
Oh, come on.
I doubt that.
He says he's sober.
And not just like, I'm not talking about like marijuana. I'm talking about like real drugs.
I mean, he says he's sober, and I'm going to respond to all that. I'm trying to.
So does Joshua Dial.
Share this. Oh, yeah. It's a whole nother conversation there, right?
So Josh has gone. It's gone downhill.
All right. I just shared to my live feed now too, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, so this individual, like, I know him personally, first of all, and he's not a bad dude. I worked with him for a little while. Like, I mean, he has kind of a reputation around town of kind of like he's on this kick, of Apollo, and I would agree with a lot of the stuff he has to say. I mean, some of it's really wacky. You get into like, he's an angel and all this different stuff, but his whole message inevitably is one that's of love and of empowering. So I can kind of get behind that a little bit, but there's so much like narcissism and like, I'm the one that's going to set you free and come follow me around and watch me work sort of stuff. And then easily triggered. So it's just kind of like, I don't know if this is really what I mean, I was like, I've seen a lot of people make bold claims. At one point in my life, I may have been impressed with it. You might be able to do some cool magic tricks, but anymore, that's not what me or pretty much the people that associate with me are into. But thanks anyway, man. If you want to have a conversation, we're down for that. But
Seth, you were wanting to say something, and now you're not.
Yeah. Well, I think he's very ill. You don't just claim that like you're an angel of God or that you are God. Like that's.
Well, I mean,
we're in the realm of
our good friend Kyle Butler would say something very similar to that. You think he's mentally ill as well?
See this.
This guy's different than Kyle Butler though, because
Kyle
Butler is completely sober-minded, and he's not saying off-the-wall stuff like, come watch me work and you won't believe what's gonna, what I can do and all this stuff. Like that's not what Kyle's saying.
This guy, this person is acting like not Kyle, this other person is acting like he's Jesus. Okay. He's like saying he's like an angel sent from God. Come follow me and I will show you the way. It is 2020. No, that is not happening. And I think that maybe you should see a psychiatrist. But it gets really complicated really quickly because while his message is love, his Facebook comments have been very divisive.
What's that, Julia?
I think his message is not love. I think his message is all about himself, which...
I mean, you can have a message of love, but that kind of goes back to my whole question of like, well, if you're broken inside and you're loving the best you can, but what does love look like? I mean, like that's the whole... That's where it kind of falls apart for me, because I love the idea, that we're all these love beings, but we've also been through a shit ton of bullshit and done a bunch to our bodies and our minds. And it's like, if we can't see the world clearly, or we can't even love ourselves, then how are we then going to be that love instrument into other people? If we've been hurt people sort of thing. And so, You guys mull on that just for a minute. I'm gonna go see if I can't help Elizabeth with her technical difficulties, and I'll be right back.
Yeah.
All right.
I just don't know. Like, if someone is saying, like Kyle Butler says, that love is the source, which I don't think Kyle Butler is claiming to be God. I'm saying he's saying that you don't need a savior in Jesus Christ. You can save yourself, kind of thing. Not as in like, I'm God, but I have the power to help myself, basically. I think that's kind of what his message is.
I understand that might be the message, but
Am I the only one that can't hear Seth? Seth? I can't hear a word you're saying. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Seth? Hello? Seth, can you hear me? I wonder if people can hear us on Facebook.
can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay, but I can't hear you.
You
So
can't
we
hear
got
me now?
a second. Correct. Wow. But it could be me. So give me a second. I think it like reset all of my settings.
Oh.
Say something. There you
Check
are.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
So
I'm
that was
back.
you.
Yep, 100%.
No worries.
Okay.
Hey, we got Elizabeth back.
And I saw you weren't able to hear Seth there for a second, but that was on his end, not on mine. I was freaking out. I'm running around the house like,
No, it's actually 100% me. Apparently, like it stopped recording in a GarageBand and everything.
right. What Ryan's like? What is this?
Fade the volume.
Sorry, man. Apparently, we're having technical difficulties. Like it's our first time podcasting. 127.
Shut up. Shut up.
Here's what we need. This needs to turn into like a big fundraiser for Fade to Gray so that we can get everything that we need. Like Seth needs some stuff. All right, Chris, you're in the spotlight. Say what you've always wanted to say. Fuck the liberals. Fuck the conservatives.
I'm just saying I'm not going to have a recording of myself for this, so
it's okay. We haven't really talked about anything, but a little bit of
let me
love. So, but we'll see. Do we have any? Let's see. It's only Chris on mic out. Yes, everybody was like loving the Chris on mic. Man, does anybody have any questions for Chris while he was on mic?
right. This is FTG Roundtable. Ask me anything. So this is your moment, your time to ask us anything you would like. Please hit Chris up with some very personal questions. We all want to hear.
We have to be 100% honest too.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
why would we not be honest if we're telling people to ask us anything?
Well,
why would we lie?
You might say something like, "Oh, I'm not going to answer that."
Well, that's an honest answer.
Right. But are we going to do a thing like where we have to answer and we have to answer honestly?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think we should do it.
Well, people have to, first of all, watch the feed, and second of all, ask questions. So we'll see.
We'll see how it goes. Elizabeth, how are you doing? Yeah, I don't know about StreamYard, man.
Yeah, I
Even
think
if
this
you guys are talking to me, just so you know, I'm very far behind whatever.
StreamYard.
I hate it.
Yeah,
It's a cool idea, but I just don't know if it's going to work for us.
I think the primary problem is the fact that it is streaming. So it's like within a website rather than an actual application. And I think that's where we see the hiccup, because it's streaming through Chrome rather than a downloaded application like Zoom.
Who knows?
All right, we have our first question from Stephanie here.
So worried about having weird kids after the 2020 school year.
Am I still worried about having weird kids after the 2020 school year?
Stephanie's such a great addition to our Fade to Gray family. Thank you so much for coming around, Stephanie. That's a great question. Dude, she made us biscuits and gravy when you came down last week.
Can I answer the goddamn question, Chris?
No, I'm just so stoked on Stephanie. I answer the question.
sorry she didn't ask you a question, but like you had your opportunity to talk. Nobody else was here, and all you kept saying is, "Seth, I can't hear you. Seth, I can't hear you." You're like,
I
So
never
shut
heard
up
any of
now.
those.
I'm talking. Anyway, so no, I think I've always been, I don't know, worried about having weird kids. I just think we're gonna have weird kids. I mean, have you met me? Have you seen Elizabeth? I mean, they're just gonna be weird, and it has nothing to do with whether or not they're homeschooled. So that's my answer to that question.
I think your kids are awesome. Carmen, actually, I was poloing with Elizabeth yesterday, and Carmen asked me to teach her how to say hello in several different languages, and she's so cute.
Oh,
Yeah, she's a good kid.
Thanks, Ron. Yeah, I know you're not talking about our streaming services, keeping up the good work, but
there's gonna be an interview later on tonight, and I think we're gonna do it through Zoom, and I think
we
it
need
will
to.
come across better. So don't worry. Better content is fast approaching.
well, oh, you don't like our content, Seth? All right, well then let me ask you anything.
Oh, how the
So,
turntables.
well, turntables.
Tables turned.
It sounds like we just went to whole DJ mode. All right, Seth. So I'm not going to ask you a sexual question.
Thank God.
But it may have to do with your sexual identity a little bit because it has to do with faith.
Oh yeah, the two are tied. What's up?
So, in your deconstruction of Christianity, what have you actually deconstructed at all?
Oh, that's funny. A lot of things. I don't.
Thanks, Ryan. He's a friend to the podcast. Cool.
I don't hold to the belief. Crap, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think you have.
I don't think you've deconstructed a goddamn thing.
I think I have moments where I've deconstructed. I have moments where I think that hell isn't real. I have moments where
you still believe that it is.
There are moments when I am able to look past some of the rigid conservative ideals of fundamental Christianity. But it isn't. I have not gotten to a point where it is all the time. It's more. It comes and goes in waves. And lately, with things that have been going on, the waves have been less frequent. So that's true. Like there's also, the frequency of the tides also varies.
Okay, we'll unpack that. I think that's a whole episode I'd like to talk to you about, because I've been noticing as we've been talking theology and having conversations lately that there's not a whole lot in Christianity that you've let go of at all, and to the point to where you still think you may end up in hell just because of your sexuality. So that blows my mind, and we can unpack that some more later. Stephanie's throwing some great questions at us, and I think we should give her.
I like what Jeffrey said too.
I didn't. I mean, I love you, Jeffrey, but I think you know me. I mean, I hope you know who I am.
Who's the bald guy?
You mean that guy?
Yeah.
No, not that guy. Take him down. Take him down.
So, all right, some comments. Let's get to Stephanie again. Let's get into this a little bit. Favorite non-FTGN podcast. So something that's not in the networks. I think each of us can take this. Why don't you go ahead first, Chris?
Well, I was just on a podcast called Facing Off, and we talked about 2007. Well, on that podcast, they face off two movies that are similar. And so we talked about the 2007 movies, There Will Be Blood and No Country for Old Men. And we faced them off, and it was really fun. So I like them a lot. Facing Off podcast. Go check them out. There's also a podcast about philosophy and capitalism where they also talk about movies sometimes, called Estranged. And it's pretty cool.
So if you are a friend with Chris, he will plug your podcast when asked questions about what he listens to the most.
I listen to those podcasts a lot. Joe Rogan's the one I listen to the most. I mean, but I'm not going to plug him. He doesn't need it.
Was it $150 million?
God, can you imagine? Jesus.
Seth, what's your favorite non-network podcast.
I have two suggestions because I'm not sure if the first one will count, but I would suggest Bookish by Michelle Collins. I'm
Okay.
actually going to be
FTG and related.
well, is it? Because
Yes.
Bookish is not on the, is not part of the network.
Okay, but she's part of the network.
That's why I told you I had two podcasts to reference. So, but I'm going to be on her podcast tonight. I'm going to be talking about Jesus for President by Shane Claiborne. It's a really good podcast. She reviews books with people and really how those books impact them.
Are this how all the questions are going to go? We're just going to have like shameless promotions of a podcast that we're on whenever.
But then I also want to rep Crime Junkie. It's two girls that go over serial killers, crimes.
Women?
Yes, two women. They run the show and they review crimes that have happened. I really enjoy it.
So,
specifically in regards to serial killer phenomenon.
I love me some crime podcasts. In fact, my favorite podcast I listen to is called True Crime Garage. Two dudes out of Ohio, not too far away from where I live, have been doing this since like 2016 or something. Have a very good podcast. Much respect to them. The one guy does the music, and it's like every episode is new music, and they do their research. If anything, it's for me. I aspire. I got a lot of respect for the dudes. I feel like they've started out as a hobby and have progressed their art or their craft into something that now pays the bills, where they get to do it full time. So now they get to put a lot more time and energy into the research behind the different topics and bring a better product to the table. And yeah, I'm impressed. They keep getting better. So I recommend True Crime Garage, and they have some 300 or more episodes out. And the guys are a lot of fun. They just kind of like give each other shit the whole time, and they're always giving beer recommendations at the beginning.
The Beer Fund.
Yeah, which
it's
is
a good
cool.
podcast.
Yep. Yeah, I made Chris listen to it while we were out working at his house, and I really should get some earbuds at work because, like I said, this is one of my favorite podcasts. They put out two a week normally, too. So it's like part 1 and part 2. And so if I'm working on a job with other people and I'm listening to this like loudly, I'm wondering what my coworkers are thinking about me. So
don't worry about that. That's why I had to start using AirPods for Marco Polo, because I really can't walk around with that playing anymore.
Talk way too much about anal sex and Marco Polo.
That's true.
Family, like for real, like, but I'll like just be listening to it. I was like, crap, I can't. I live in like a senior living community, is like right outside my port, like right outside my door. And I'm like, I can't.
They can't hear you anyway. So Ryan thinks that Joe Rogan is shooting himself in the foot by siding with Spotify. I don't know how you're shooting yourself in the foot making $160 million. Yeah,
he said, and he'll end up like Stern, where you'll have to end up like I'm willing to bet at some point it'll be like a subscription thing where you have to pay for it. But anyway, yeah.
All right, Seth, we have a question directly for you by Stephanie.
I don't have an answer.
I mean, aren't you? I mean, Christian?
Aren't I a mental health professional and should know the answer to that? Yes.
And don't you have the Holy Spirit? And
praise the Lord.
Don't you like to cuddle?
Seth, what do you find peace in?
What do I find peace in? I find peace in relaxing on the deck. I find peace in spending time with Manelli, honestly. I find peace in spending time with friends, specifically friends that I can trust and talk about serious issues and how I'm really doing, where I don't have to put on a show, but I can be authentically me. Yep.
Yeah. So it's interesting. We have a Joe Rogan conversation going on. So Ryan thinks he's reducing his audience size, and Joe thinks we'll move to Spotify, which is probably true too. And then Stephanie bringing it back home with, do you meditate or pray, or do you have? Who's that directed towards, Stephanie? Is that a follow-up question for Seth, or is that for all of us?
She wants to know about all of us, except me.
You're the one we really should pay attention to, because you're the one who definitely doesn't pray. So I'd like to know.
I have heard Chris pray, and I have seen his prayers answered in real time. So
yeah, sure.
If anything is most connected to God, I think it's Chris. I mean, but he's lowest to the ground, so I don't know.
It's true.
Ooh, I like Ryan's question. So let's get to Stephanie's and then move to Ryan's. This is getting a little fun. All right, so myself, I like to be mindful, to be thankful. I don't have a prayer life really anymore. I don't like consciously pray to a deity or being like on a daily basis. But I like to kind of keep an attitude of gratitude, I like to say, which I think is the best way to stay connected to God and stay like just keeping good vibes in your life, if nothing else. I try to do that as much as I possibly can. Weed helps, definitely helps. I prayed a lot when I was on my way to Texas. I found that like when I'm in fear of my life and actually want to live and think that maybe I have something to live for, I was asking then, but that was kind of interesting because I was trying not to like deconstruct my prayer as I'm praying, because it kind of makes it less peaceful that way. But and a hobby, shit, you're looking at it, 4 kids and working all the time. Podcasting is the hobby. And then my mindless video games. I like to play me some NBA 2K. So that's my answer to your question, Steph. Ooh, nerdy guilty pleasures. Oh, we got some good questions. So anybody else want to take that question?
She specifically asked me, so I'll answer it. Meditation, I find to be very helpful for a lot of people. I personally struggle to do it, partially because of my brain injury. Like I really struggle in that regard, and I don't pray that much. Seth, fuck, Mary, kill. These questions are gonna get good. But do I have a hobby? Podcasting is my hobby, and it used to be something that I just did for fun, and now it's like become my entire life. So it feels like all I do is work and something podcast related at all times, and I love it. So yeah.
All right, cool. So and Chris, no one cares about your prayer life.
It's all good.
But you can answer this. You can answer this next question from Ryan. Any boundaries to questions for you on politics, religion, or anything?
Hell no. Let's talk about it.
All right.
It's an open game.
Yeah, that's pretty much the way I think we all feel, especially because we have pretty good relationship. We can get into a little bit.
What Joe put?
Yay! So Joe would marry me and kill Renee.
I don't get him. I'm not involved at all.
He would kill Renee.
So, all right. So, yes. Sometimes some topics can be sensitive, and so you have to kind of work your way around them. But I feel like anything is fair game and should be talked about. So I don't think there's any boundaries. But I think people should be respectful of where somebody's at when you come to a conversation, especially if there's some like emotions are fresh, like around like the areas of race or something right now.
You want to be sensitive.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can not be. I was actually talking to Chris about this week. We're talking about the Jimmy John noose incident thing, and I don't know if you guys know about it. I didn't know about it until Chris told me. Apparently, a buddy of ours who's also a podcaster had posted, this is racist, and Chris is like, "How is this racist? They didn't say anything about race." And I was like, "Dude, it's a noose." And then he kind of realized it was almost like a white privilege thing. He's never looked at a noose and thought, like anything about race. And to me, it's like, if I see that, I know, like that it's probably signifying something that like, hey, remember when sort of deal. Anyway, but that's one of those things where the kids may not have been racist at all, but they were definitely insensitive.
Yeah.
And I think the more that we just care to be more sensitive about a topic, the less we have to worry about those other labels, and that's not really what it's about anyway. So yeah, we'll talk about anything. Next question.
What do you guys think of Biden? I like that question.
I don't.
I really don't either.
Well,
he has dementia.
100%.
But he has dementia.
What we have
but he is by far more qualified in his current position to be president of the United States than Donald J. Trump?
I would
Yes, he
disagree.
does. Really?
I
Really?
think they're equal. I think
Have you
they
looked
both-
at the news today? Because it gets really interesting
No,
what he's
'cause it's
done this
fake.
week.
I'll tell you why he's the exact same as Donald Trump is because he's written 40 years of racist laws that's locked people up for minimum drug offenses. He's touched women. He's got 8 women accusers. He's the fucking same shit. Fuck that guy. Hell no. Vote in third party. If I vote at all.
Yeah. JoJo for president.
I don't think that he would have cut federal funding to COVID testing.
Who gives
I
a
don't
shit?
think
He's
that
gonna
he would
walk
have.
He was president just like Obama did. Fuck him.
Well, that's one perspective, but I disagree.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion is similar to Chris's. I don't have much of an opinion. I don't follow politics too closely, but I mean, it's just the same thing. There's the two-party system's a fucked system.
Yeah.
I try to vote third party as much as possible just because I'm wanting to stick it to. I know that my vote doesn't count, but if we get enough of us to say we're done with this two-party system, we're done with you telling us, like, give us a good candidate to vote for. Why it's for the last at least decade, you know, we haven't been able to choose anything decent for us as president. So
We've
What's
had
so
some decent
sad?
candidates. It's just the news will never give them the time of day. And
yeah, you had like Hillary
Yeah.
last year, Biden this year, and Trump both those years too. Or not year, I shouldn't say as terms. Apologize.
and twice Bernie Sanders got the shaft from the Democrats. So
That is true. He did.
Shoot, and I would have voted Bernie, even though I don't know. Like I
But
said,
truthfully, Bernie is a far better third-party candidate than he is a Democratic candidate,
I 100% agree.
and that's why. I mean, so he's trying to make it in the wrong party, and the party is not going to let him succeed because he can't
Because
succeed.
it's corrupt. I get it.
so
I don't know if it's corrupt, but you can't. I mean, he's a third-party candidate. His belief system does not fall in line with either of the major parties.
I'm voting Yeezy anyway.
I would actually consider Yeezy over Biden or Trump.
Dude, that wasn't he just in the mental hospital last year?
So
Who?
That's true. Maybe for president though.
yeah, sure, why not?
Oh,
I mean, we
Kanye?
got Trump.
It literally, Kanye would be just an extension of a Trump presidency. In fact, I'm pretty sure that Kanye would probably put Trump in his cabinet.
No, he
and-
would.
And I don't even think it's really his idea. It's very possible Trump might have suggested that as a way of pulling votes from Biden.
It's very possible that could happen, you know, because
I'm sorry, like,
splits the Democratic Party to where, yeah, so I don't know.
Jessica, I want to answer her question real quick. She says, "Who will Biden pick as his VP?" 100% Kamala Harris. And the
Yes.
funny thing is that Kamala Harris called him racist in the debates. Anyway,
There was a nerdy guilty pleasure there, Stephanie. I had that up there for a while. Oh, wait, no, that's not.
I mean, you should answer. You brought it up. Talk
Yeah,
your
I
dirty
did.
pleasures,
I
man.
don't know where. Nerdy guilty pleasure. Maybe cards. Is cards nerdy? Like hand and foot. You know, playing card games. When I was in Northern Ireland, we did a lot of that, and I was just thinking recently it'd be awesome just to sit around with a group of friends and drink some beers, play some cards.
I love card games, especially Exploding Kittens.
Okay. So I don't know. I don't know if that's nerdy or not. Chess. I play a lot of chess, things like that, board games like that. You know, play video games. I don't know. I guess that's it. I like Vampire Weekend. Does that make me a nerd?
Oh, they're great. Yeah.
All right. Moving on. You guys see another one you want me to?
Joe really wanted me to answer Marry, Fuck, Kill.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Or what's the order? I need to go back.
Marry, fuck, kill.
And who are my out of what audience?
I don't think there is one. You just choose.
Oh, well then that's it. Well, I can tell you.
Looks like our listeners like Kanye for president.
Yeah.
All right, Seth.
I've got Marry and Kill. I'm just trying to figure out fuck.
I know who you're going to kill.
Me.
Who's that?
Donald Trump.
Oh God, I wish.
We should probably
I
not.
should not have said that. I did not mean that. That
Did you
was
hear
an exaggeration on top of just this conversation. I am backing up. I am editing
I think
myself.
the Secret
did
Service
not
is at
say
your
that.
door right now.
I did not say that. I would kill Omar. I would. I would probably marry Amber Dunn, and I would fuck,
Oh, Amber.
and I would.
She is the sweetheart.
There hasn't been anyone really in the family.
That's interesting that you would marry a female, though. Let's talk about that.
Jesus saved me. He changed me for his glory. Going to heaven, ladies and gentlemen. I really can't think of
What if
anyone to
heaven?
fuck.
What if heaven was just nothing but gay butt sex for everybody?
those 72 virgins in Islam, you never know if they're men or women.
That's a good
And
point.
you're like, I went straight for this. Or no, what if that was hell, and then you had to go to heaven and it was all vag sex?
I figured out who I'd fuck. Andy Gillis. So yeah. So
Oh.
Okay.
so Andy, Amber, Omar.
And we know Clay would fuck him up, so
That's true. Oh, Clay.
That was funny.
that's a great week in the family.
Oh.
There's I mean, it's been happening, like lots been happening this week for sure.
Can I just make a confession about that whole thing? Because I feel a little guilty because the tension was there and I nudged it. I nudged it and then I backed off and I nudged it too far and I started a dumpster fire. But it was a lot of fun to watch.
I disagree. I hated it. I hated every minute.
I hated every minute of it, and I felt guilty about it a little bit too because I came in kind of like I was just pissed off that they were both arguing about a goddamn hashtag.
I know.
When the video was this guy like who walked into the wrong property and was threatening to be like, I mean, they were like jumping on the back of his neck and like trying to string him up from the tree and shit like that. And I'm like heartbreaking, like trying to figure out where this is at because I live in the woods, you know. Some of those people look like they could be my neighbors, and you know, so I just go into the comment section, and it was just two of my close friends are both in like, you know, kind of the network I work with, you know, like arguing over a hashtag, which was a stupid hashtag, but yeah, it was, and then it carried on into the family and got interesting. And Seth was happy that it had nothing to do with him because
I was so excited. I mean, and unless people don't know, but like typically, just imagine our team. Okay, you have Omar Williams, you have Chris, Elizabeth, and me. It at times, if there's any drama within our core, or even really within the family, it's typically around something I have started, I have said, I have done, or I have somehow been mentioned. And sometimes literally I get things happen without me even being there. It's almost like I can start drama just by my mere appearance or name.
you're giving yourself way too much credit.
Whatever. So to see it happen with someone else and then sit back and actually then watch Omar and Chris like try to intervene and like work things out, which what they would do with me, but to see them do it with someone else was very entertaining.
I just don't know how that could be entertaining. To me, it would be boring or almost painful to watch.
Cringy would be the word
Right.
I'd say.
Yeah.
Cringy. I was just so happy it wasn't me. It was like the first time I was like, wait a second, this is happening and this is horrible, but I don't have to be a part of this at all. I don't even have to comment. This is amazing.
All right.
Seth loves that drama.
I don't love it. I just like to not be a part of it.
We have another interview this evening that we can get ready for. If anybody has any other questions, we have this one from Stephanie here too. We'll talk a little bit about our day jobs a little bit, I guess. And then favorite part of my day job, which
I know mine. Favorite part of my day job is, well, whenever I actually have it, is getting to hang out and like, you know, influence kids. You know, as a teacher, it's the best part of my job. The adults are always the worst part. The kids make it totally worth it. And I fucking miss the hell out of those guys. And I really hope we go back to school starting in August. I'm so ready to get out of this house.
And that's why Chris is voting for Biden, because him and the kids, you know, this.
No, different kind of I will not be voting for Biden. And one of the reasons is because he's creepy with kids. I don't like that at all. Grosses me out.
Favorite part of your day job? I love my job, like a lot of it. But I don't know, going home. I mean, because I'm away from my family all day, you know. So, but and you look forward to that. That's the favorite part. But I mean, also whenever I get to do remodel projects or something where you got a little old lady or somebody who's been living with an issue for years in their house, and you go in and you fix it in like 30 minutes, and they're incredibly grateful and want to like give you some cookies or something like that, you know. And it's just that
It reminds me of the little old lady on The Wedding Singer where she pays him in meatballs.
So really, Omar goes. The best part of his day is when old ladies give him cookies. Is that? Did I hear that correctly?
I did it all for the cookie.
Yeah,
Come on.
sounds like it.
So
What about you, Seth?
So I'm a trainer, so I'm teaching like
not a
systems.
personal trainer.
I am a corporate clinical trainer is my actual title. But when I see people, when it clicks, there's often like this light bulb moment when you're teaching people a system that's like from the 1970s and they finally figure it out and then start adding in the clinical stuff. It's really cool to see that happen.
Man, whenever I tell a joke, I'd love to see you click.
That's hilarious. However, I will just note that they have to complete a survey at the end of every day. And this week, one of the comments was, "It was a great day, and Seth has a great sense of humor."
Oh, that's awesome.
And I was like, that was kind of really nice to hear that, like, because I'm trying to be funny, you know, like I'm trying to like make this, because I'm literally, it's not that exciting. It's kind of
Seth
boring.
has a great sense of humor. That person was really nice.
I know she was really just patting it on because, you know, it was all bullshit. So that was kind of cool to see.
Do you get feedback like that like every day?
Yeah. I mean, what do you mean? Like that positive every day?
No, just feedback.
Yes.
That
They
would be
have to
nice, actually.
They have to complete a survey every single day. So like, what was the best part? What was confusing? What did you what was the least enjoyable, or that you liked the least? And then also, how was the pace of training? And then did you agree that the trainer was knowledgeable, and something else, like another, like yes or no? But yeah.
So Jessica says, you know, she liked your Exploding Kittens.
It's so much fun.
But Catan, I agree, is the best game. Although we're not allowed to play that in my family anymore. The first few years of our marriage, we played a lot of Catan. In fact, we got all the expansion sets. And I would take it kind of seriously. Like, you know, I'd want to win, you know. And so I would be kind of ruthless. And apparently Elizabeth's family used to play Catan as like a what's the word,
Family
building, camaraderie,
family building, like
What?
relationship building.
But there's something else building. It's like a word that people use all the time, like a
social
Trust
activity.
building.
anyway.
I don't even know what Catan is. I know
It's a board game, much like Risk, but like
Much more
you
detailed.
basically are I can't speak at all.
Colonizing.
Thank you. That's the word. Colonizing land, and so you can build up to cities. And
Ooh, so it's a racist game.
Sort of. Yeah. I mean, they do have, like, if you get the expansion pack, they have what they call the robber, and the robber's black, and so there is
Really?
yeah.
It's about colonization and The robber is black. Ooh. I don't know.
Team building, but team building
There
is
we
not
go. Team building.
yeah. So
I like families that work as a team. That's good.
yeah, it's really nice. You know, they want to sit around and just socialize and talk, and I'm like, roll the dice, sweetheart. Like, let's go. We still got another.
Oh, I get so mad.
We got another 3 hours to this game. I mean, come on. I like the question. All right, so we're gonna keep going because Ryan has a good question here too. Do you think the world needs religion, or would it be better off without it?
Define religion.
No, you don't need to define that. That's easy. Yeah. So would the world be, does it need it? I would say that almost every single society has created it. I don't know that it's necessary, but they've definitely created it. And they've each created their own. And would it be better off without it? It's hard to say.
So much as good has happened through religion.
But so much bad too, though.
I know, but like
bad.
All the hospitals were started out of churches. Homeless shelters were started. Adoption centers. Everything that we see in our society today that really help, like that strives to be of service, originated typically from the church.
Yeah, but would it be better off without it now? And I would say probably better off without it now.
I think it needs to be reworked. I think it needs a major overhaul, and
I like
really need to be
ideas on that.
Well, and but there needs to be branches of it, just like there are now. But I mean, I think that institutionalized religion over the course of the last 200 to 300 years. Yes, I would say it's been very damaging, but it's also the history of the church, and it's what Jesus has used to work through society since the beginning. So it's bad, but it's also the best thing we have. So, I mean, I think that we just need to rework it.
Religion causing people guilt for 2,000 years.
I'm going to answer this question from a kind of a little bit different angle there for you, Ryan. Great question, by the way. So, do you think the world needs religion, or would it be better off without it? I don't think you could have a world without religion, because I think people in and of themselves do things religiously. I think that there is whether it be what we consider religion, or there's things that we do in our life every day, like that becomes a tradition or becomes a routine that you can say that we do religiously. So then you're looking at, like traditions getting passed down that get ingrained into a society that become a religion. A lot of these different stories, like even the Bible, in my opinion, is a collection of ancient stories kind of put together, retold in the same way. So I think
inspired by God.
That sure. I think that the world is better off because of it, but it's like a two-edged sword, because I think a lot of simple things that we deal with in society, social issues and things like that, get convoluted with religious affiliations and things like that, religious and political. Because I think, and that's where you have religion and politics mixing. That's when that gets really bad. So it's hard to say that do we need it. I think there would always, if we got rid of all the world religions right now, something else would form.
Yes,
it's gonna happen because people.
I mean, that's what the woke culture is. It's totally a religion. It's a system of guilt
culture.
Yes, absolutely. It's a system of guilt, and it's set in place that, like, you have these standards, these moral standards you're supposed to be set to, and if you don't follow them, then you're excommunicated. That's a religion.
Are we saying like woke culture is like cancel culture? Are you making
no the woke? I mean, cancel culture is part of it. That's the excommunication part. But woke, the whole like woke crowd, that's a religion. Totally a religion. It's a set of morals, and if you don't follow those morals, you're not part of our group.
Yeah, but I think there's probably a lot of groups that are like that too.
Right.
I'd agree that that's
trends.
That's definitely negative, and there's bad things with the woke culture for sure. And I think the woke culture is just kind of a joke anyway. I remember, what was it, like 5 years ago, Joe Rogan was making fun of the woke culture, and it's still a fucking thing. You know, and it's become, like you said, cancel culture, which is really, really bad, really, really, really bad. I'll say that again. And so I am not a fan of it. Is it a like religion? It goes back to the same thing as anything else. People are religious. So you get a group, you know, you get people have mind thinking together, then yeah, sure, it can become something like cult like or religious like. So yeah,
I'm not saying that woke culture is the only like new religion, and I'm just saying it's totally a religion. They don't probably even call it that, but I mean, it just is.
So, can I address the next question down here? Because this whole idea of like community hub versus the church, what the hell is the church but a group of people? It is a community. They literally mean the same thing. So I don't understand but I'm changing back to that topic. But
Set this triggered.
I am a little bit because this
because
idea
you don't need Jesus in a community.
No, Stephanie Branson asked, "What was it because the church was the best starting point, or because it was the community hub at the time?" Well, the same thing. So, anyways,
yeah, I don't know if I can expand much on that other than like, yeah, you're right. The church is a community, but the church is a lot more than a community, and it's really kind of overstepped. And once it gets connected to politics, you know, and it has like it has in our country, it's no longer. I mean, it's capitalism. It's not really Christianity. So, let's see. And then yeah, I agree. Fuck cancel culture, and then also, I'm not.
Ooh, yeah, fundamentalism is totally the problem.
Yeah.
Regina George. Oh, fuck that bitch.
what?
Yeah. Thanks, Ryan. Too. Appreciate your questions. You know, about the woke culture. Thanks for yeah. Thanks, Ryan.
Of course it does.
Hugely.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad for humanity because it shuts down a conversation. So if I can just call you evil, then I don't have to deal with your opinion. And
or
then
racist.
I'm stuck in, right, or racist, whatever it is. If I can categorize you as something that I can just write off, then I no longer have to deal with your opinion, and I can just continue being in an echo chamber. It's terrible for community, for humanity, for everything like that.
Yeah, it doesn't allow you to be wrong. It doesn't allow for there to be an actual conversation where you can learn, because you're always posturing yourself in such a way that even if you say the wrong thing, then all of a sudden you have to try to spin it. You can't just be like, oh, my bad, you're right, let me, rethink what I'm saying. It's like, no, you have to dig in deeper and somehow figure out a way to spin why your thing is right, so you don't get and yeah, cancel culture it's sick. I don't really know where it's come from, and being a fan of comedy, and just art in general, like, and that's the thing is, like, art, you're supposed to be able to express yourself openly, and whether or not people agree with you or not, like, you don't have to. Anyway, gross.
Yeah, it's gross. And Stephanie's totally right. She's like, you need to read the questions so the podcast makes sense later. Thank you, Stephanie.
I didn't understand the question. I didn't understand what it was. I feel sheep-filled by Regina George right now. So I was like, I apologize. All right. People can't grow and learn when society is so quickly to cancel them. This is from Jessica Fouché again. Thanks for watching, Jessica. It's also disproportionate. Why didn't Kevin Hart get canceled? Dave Chappelle, Ashley, and I got that convo weekly. Yeah, so this is true.
Yeah, totally true.
Yeah. Interesting to think about. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, celebrities hardly get canceled. It takes them touching a kid or something for them to get canceled, because they're the smartest, most woke people there are, and we have to look to them to tell us what to do. That's why they're always like in acceptance speeches telling us, what we should be thinking and what we should be doing when they have no fucking idea what it's like to be someone without, millions of dollars. Those people can go fuck themselves.
Well, didn't Kevin Hart like apologize and stuff too? And
I'm sure he did. And that's what you have to do in order to keep, making movies and making tons of money like that.
Dave Chappelle doesn't apologize for shit though.
And he shouldn't. He's a comedian. He's hilarious.
Okay.
Hilarious.
Sorry.
J.K. Rowling is going to be canceled if she doesn't change what she's saying about trans culture and stuff, because she's talking about how feminism is threatened by trans women wanting to be called women, and if she doesn't get on that train, I think she's on the road to being canceled. Certainly she, but and I actually agree with J.K. Rowling on that. I don't understand the reason why trans women can't just be trans women. What's the problem there? Are you transphobic that you can't say that they're trans?
I was getting ready to want to wrap this interview up, and you just opened up trans issues, which you can't just touch on and then leave. So are you wanting to go there, or
saying it's to me, it's simple. First of all, J.K. Rowling can have her own opinion about trans.
There's nothing simple about trans conversation.
Not at all. It's one of the most nuanced conversations in our society right now.
I don't see what's so complicated about it. If someone wants to be a woman and feels like they're a woman, they can become a woman, a trans woman.
Yeah, but the scientific community is almost getting canceled though for just talking about chromosomes. So
it is that is crazy, but at the same time they shouldn't be. If you're born with an X chromosome or whatever it is, I don't know what the science is behind it, but basically if you're born with the male chromosome, then you are genetically and biologically a male. And
correct.
If you want to transition, great. I don't see what the problem is.
And let me also say I couldn't understand. And is it Pravda? Am I saying that first name correctly? Does somebody else want to give a shot at it?
Omar, that's Justice.
Oh, well, Justice. Okay, so that was a response to woke culture speaking and thoughts. I think I'm doing this wrong. No, Justice, you're fine. Thanks for communicating and participating. We want to make sure that we give everybody a chance, for the question to be read and up there. So thanks, man. She's pretty much canceled.
I didn't think it was funny.
This one.
I did not say that, Joe. I did not.
Yeah. Now you got a lot of people right now saying that scientists are racist and scientists are homophobes, and it's really strange. It's really, really strange.
We're in a really interesting time in the fact that the scientific community is being laughed at and not even being people are literally looking at objective truth on. I'm not just talking about the trans community. I'm also talking about what's happening, COVID and currently. But what I'm saying is the situation with COVID is kind of bringing it up to where people can literally look at scientific facts,
my body, my choice,
proven, and be like, nope, I believe the president over, people that
but you also
know what they're doing.
You also have woke culture saying that the science that we have is based on white culture and for white people to be dominant. And so they're actually calling it racist due to that, because it's based on the work, of a bunch of white men, which there may be some validity to that.
Was Neil deGrasse Tyson or whatever isn't a white man?
That's true, but he's not
okay, hold up.
He's super woke though.
What division of the scientific community are we talking about in this regard?
Oh, they don't care.
What I'm saying is I'm thinking of the healthcare field.
It would be probably medical doctors and shit.
Right. Well, most of our medical doctors are not white men. They're generally
Indian,
Chinese, and Asian. Well, they are, because they come from and they get scholarships and they go to a university hospital right now.
Ooh, say something racist, Seth.
I'm not saying something racist. I'm saying it is our system of healthcare. And so what I'm saying is, like, if you go to a hospital, the likelihood that your doctor is a privileged white male it's probably 50-50. It's not like they completely dominate the market, because white men typically are not that smart.
That is a weird generalization.
Well,
That is a
There's-
weird generalization.
there's
That was pretty
brilliant
racist.
white people
You did so well, and then you finished it off with that.
you know,
you
got
told-
on a roll and
you
it's
to-
been out.
you told the line so well, and then you just finished with that.
It's my own race, though.
So
Yeah, fuck math.
math is gonna get canceled.
Yeah, let's cancel math.
Well, we're kinda, I mean,
That's
All
true.
right.
That's true. Okay, let's. So yeah,
Let's-
besides we can.
can science be racist? I don't think it can.
All right, but this has been fun. Thanks for participating. Sorry that we had technical difficulties. Sorry we lost Elizabeth, so it wasn't nearly as entertaining as it could have been.
We're going to be back, though, in like 30 minutes on a much better stream through Zoom. So get excited.
There won't be any cool overlays. Like I won't.
You're right. There will be no overlays.
And we
But
and you
the
can't
consistency in our audio should be great. Can we take this poor Seth thing down, please? Please take it down. Down. Stop it. Elizabeth to
All right.
poor Seth back and forth. Let's end this feed.